because having internet is integral to our ability to travel, it is our highest priority. So what we do today, and uploads of videos, that is rough.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing. Okay, so there's a couple things about a network. For one, so just for full disclosure, we use a combination of Starlink, Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T.
Yeah.
It depends on
Okay.
where we're at and who works best, okay?
True.
In that particular area, because it's different based on where you happen to be traveling to. So
Yeah.
we use all of those. We started as only using an LTE service, like the Verizon and T-Mobile, blended through our gear to make it the best, most usable signal. And we still couldn't get videos to upload. So I had we were in Oklahoma, and I had a video to upload to, YouTube or Facebook. I don't remember which one it was. And it was literally like a 37-second clip. Like, it was just a quick little thing. I was like, it took 48 minutes to upload. And I said, no, like, I can't do this. We need a better solution.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you think about it, Starlink was the only way to improve the upload speed, because LTE just isn't meant for that. It's just not. It's not great upload speeds. It's not meant to be that foolproof thing. So what we do is we have packaged some enterprise gear. So like I mentioned, my husband and I are both tech nerds. We've lived in this space, and we had access to stuff that wasn't available in stores. Okay. And so we said, okay, with all of our knowledge in creating what we, consider to be, massively redundant and resilient and diverse networks for other businesses, like, how can we make that happen in our rig, right? So we tested out a bunch of different things, and the blend is where it's at, right? So we use a omnidirectional rooftop antenna that is manufactured by Pepwave, and we do use Peplink gear as well. They are on the market. They are fantastic. We tested a lot of really, really, really expensive things, and they outperformed them. So we utilized Peplink. We're an authorized distributor. We've got all the engineering certificates. And then we used our experience to kind of create the networks that make the most sense for ourselves and our clients. So for example, we're recording this podcast on what I consider a critical connection, right? So right now, everything that I do from my laptop has been prioritized over anything my husband's doing in his office, so that I get the absolute best connectivity and the absolute best of what we have to offer for this nice, clear thing. I don't normally run in critical mode, but if we're doing something like this, I do. On our work network, which is what I'm normally connected to, we have automatically prioritized anything that is Microsoft Teams, anything that is Zoom, anything that is Google Suite related. And the reason is because if you've ever been on a not quite fantastic network and tried to do a Zoom call or a Teams call, like, it's the first thing to show instability. It absolutely is.
It stops and there's like spinning and what's going on? Everyone's gone.
Exactly, because voice needs the data packets to arrive in a very particular order. Otherwise, you get jitter and drops and stuff. So it's very scientific. The reason behind the fact that it does that, and those buffering things are the applications trying to kind of get themselves back in order. So if you have a job or, whatever it is that's dependent upon having high quality phone calls and video calls, we can really help make that better. So and we both do. Like, that's just a part of our world. And not everybody needs it, but we do.
So break that you have like 3 different carriers, like Verizon, AT&T. Do you have T-Mobile? Is that what you said? Or
Yep. Okay. We do Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And then Starlink as well. Right.
And so you guys have paid for these 3 different services. You have them all, right?
We do.
You just prioritize them.
Yes. And our software lets us prioritize them to using Starlink as our primary is what we do now, because it is truly unlimited. It's the only truly unlimited thing you'll get, but it has higher latency. And it also has the highest uptime, right? They all have different components that make them work really well. So that's our primary. And then we couple it with, right here, we're on a Verizon as our secondary, but we can tell our system, hey, Verizon's kind of expensive for us sometimes, depending on where we're at. We don't want to chew through all of our data in a day. So we set it up to kind of load balance and throttle based on what we're doing. So for example, if I were to initiate a Zoom call, it's going to go out probably the Verizon signal because it has the lowest latency. But then when I go to open my email, it'll use the Starlink, right? So it just depends on what application we're using and how it routes. The importance of that is that if I started a Zoom call to host one of these, entrepreneurship meetings, which is a huge deal, and there'll be 100 people on that call, and I'm the host. I can't mess that up, right?
No.
If something happens to the signal that it started using, it won't mess up my call. It'll just automatically switch to the other thing. So if we're, and it's actually, this happened, we were in the sand dunes in California, the Imperial Sand Dunes.
Oh, yeah.
And a big dust storm came up, and our Starlink didn't like that, as you can imagine.
No.
It was like a big dusty thing. Well, rather than kicking me off, our gear simply switched me over to our AT&T signal because we were pretty close to Mexico, and that has the strongest signal right there.
Yes.
And we didn't even know until the next day when we saw a report that said I used like 12 gigs of AT&T data that day because the Starlink just wasn't cutting it. But it didn't affect the experience, right? It didn't affect the people that were on the other side of that Zoom call. So it all worked exactly like it's supposed to. I just don't like to stress about it. You know what I mean? Like, this allows us just to go, turn it on, and we're good.